up on YouTube in a second. Very good. How is everybody doing? Hey, Sandy calling from Northern California. And hey, so can't keep up with so many comments. Yeah, so Michelle King says, hi everyone from very hot and sunny Wales. And Kath Honig says, good morning from cold and dark Australia. Looking forward to this challenge. Mary Bogue says, hi from BC. Naomi Betts says, hi everyone. Annie Craven says, hi from rainy Pyrenees. Max Ashworth says, hello from the UK. Amanda Shaw says, hello from Scotland. Sally Batty says, hi from a very hot London. That's unusual, a hot London. Rena McFarlane says, good morning again from Perth, Australia. Hey, Sharon Gallagher. And Kathleen Norton says, cloudy South Carolina. Wow, very good. Wow, so many. Cindy Faulkner from Virginia. Franziska from Germany. Linda from Melton Mowbray, UK. Wow. Stella James from Somerset. Rowena Skeet from Central Portugal. Hey, we're in the Algarve. We're not that far from you. And Sandra from Vienna. Hey. Wow, too many to read them all. Crazy. It's nice. From all over. Jörg Okelau Schwaben. Hey, my old home. Yeah, very good, very good. So today's day 0 of our challenge, on the bit challenge. Yeah, so we wanted just to welcome everybody and tell you a little bit maybe what to expect in the next 3 days of the challenge.
I'm over here.
You're over here.
Yep, can you go over here first?
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Okay, let's see here. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Run over my toes. I don't need them anymore anyway.
I'm trying to get in the picture. Who invited him anyway?
I know. Who needs me?
Welcome, everyone. Ah! So today is day 0.
Day 0.
That means nothing.
Nothing important is happening. We just want to welcome you. And
we're not doing any trainings today.
Yeah.
We're doing this so that everybody gets to basically practice the tech. Those of you that are new, this can be overwhelming. Those of you that are not new, you've been there before where it was new and it was stressful to, am I early? Am I late? Am I going? Where do I go? What do I do? So we're here to, one, give you a chance to experience what it's going to be like during the challenge. We're going to show up like this, and we're going to do trainings on day 1, 2, and 3, all at the same time.
Show up like this, meaning sweaty and dirty from the barn.
Exactly.
Just came
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's exactly it, right? Yeah. You're probably, you make dirty and sweaty from the barn too. It's all good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're horse people, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if you have any questions about how the challenge works, this is your chance to ask them. You can ask them in Zoom. You can ask them on YouTube. And I can monitor the Facebook group a little bit too. So we can answer any questions on. So let me go over what's going to happen. So let's see. Day 1 is tomorrow. And we're going to do a theory lesson about what on the bit is, what it isn't, what, and that has nothing to do with the bit. That's another important part, right? It has absolutely nothing to do with the bit, really. I mean, the bit is part of the symptoms, or it's part of the...
works if you write bitless too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, principles are the same.
So, but, the bit is just one of the many tools you can use, but it works in a bitless bridle. Gosh, it can work in a hackamore, and
it's an expression. It's a technical term that's maybe not ideal. So, but that's how it goes sometimes, right? The technical terms, they form in time, and then they stick, and then you use them even though you realize, well, they could have chosen something better.
It's a little bit outdated in a way now, but that's okay. Exactly. We go with it. So we're going to explain all of that, and we're going to teach an imagery lesson, okay, that can help you already, and we're going to then give you some homework too. So an experiment that you can try. So So that's day one. That's tomorrow. Expect that the live training will run at least 1 hour and probably 2 hours, knowing us, because we answer questions at the end too. So be prepared, try to block off that time. If you can't make it live, of course you can watch the replay, but you can't watch, or you can't ask your questions live. And it's just more fun to watch live. I know, because I watch stuff live too. It's always more fun to watch it live. So that's day one. Day two. We're going to give you teach you a writing exercise that you can do that will help establish better contact, connection, throughness, all of these things. So that's day two, and we'll answer questions on day two as well. So that also means questions about the previous day as well. So, and then day three, we're answering questions, and well, actually on day three, let me backtrack. Day three, before we go live, we're going to release a 10-minute pre-recorded Feldenkrais lesson that you can do. It's really nice to do. I did it again. I've done it multiple times, but I did it again the other day, just so that I'm really ready for this challenge myself. And it's a great lesson that helps you find basically the connection within your own body, how each side of yourself connects to the other side. And it's a beautiful lesson. And then we'll be on live at the same time with Catherine McCrum, who is our Feldenkrais teacher that teaches the Feldenkrais lessons in all of our courses. She'll be joining us. We'll answer questions. And that is basically the extent of the challenge. We've shortened it this time so that people can hopefully manage to show up these 3 days. They're really important. And we are running a scholarship just like we have for previous challenges. The person who really goes above and beyond to show up, take notes, learn, integrate, share with others, provide contribution to the community. We are going to grant that person scholarship in our upcoming contact and connection course.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. This course, I think we ran it the first time a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
So it's a long time coming.
Yeah, so we're running it again.
We're running again. We're making some additions and some new changes to it this time around. So those of you who are beta members that were in the last course, this will be really fun, because not only are you doing the course again, because that's how we always do it, you get to take the course again, but there's going to be new additions into the course. So
and so the challenge is always a little bit like a miniature edition of the course, right? That contains all the elements that are in there: the theory, practical exercises, mental imagery, Feldenkrais lessons, all things that are useful to help you, ride your horse,
and the support too.
And the support.
The questions. You can also ask your questions in the Facebook group, and on day two, you get a writing exercise to try. If you can, film yourself writing the exercise, post it in the group, and we'll give you feedback. Between us and our team members, we have a number of assistant instructors. We'll all be in there giving you support. So this is your chance.
Mary Bogue says, I really encourage everyone to put the effort into this challenge. I was a lucky recipient of one of the Widow scholarships from a different challenge, and they have changed my way of working with the horses.
That's lovely. Thank you, Mary.
That's nice. And so we decided 2 years ago to make a course about contact and connection and so on. Because in all the other courses, you constantly get questions that involve rein contact. My horse is too heavy. My horse curls up. My horse leans on one rein. My horse does this. My horse does that. All to do with the rein contact. And usually, of course, it doesn't have anything to do with the horse's mouth usually, or with the reins per se. It has something to do with overall balance and straightness and suppleness and a bunch of other things in the rider's seat and so on. So we thought, since we have to explain these things in all the courses we run, we always have to address these issues and explain where the rein contact issues come from. So we thought, well, it would actually make sense to make a course just for that. So get it out of the way once and for all.
It's like a deep dive.
Exactly. So we can explore all the facets of, contact. And, I don't know, what your experience is, but when I started riding, getting the horse on the bit was the big thing. That was the big challenge. And, if
I
you
struggled with that for so.
me too, years.
Yeah.
It took me years, right, to figure it out. And
It was like the be all end all thing. If I could just do
if you had the horse on the bit, then you
Mm.
looked like you knew what you were doing, right? And if you didn't have the horse on the bit, then you were a beginner and people would laugh at you and stuff. So that was like this big thing.
Or you at least feared that they would, whether they
exactly.
do or
They
not,
did. In my case, they did.
Oh, mine, yeah. But you feel ashamed because you can't get your horse on the bit. So
that was this big thing for me. It took forever, and nobody could explain how to do it, right? Like my teachers, they were very talented. They did it all by feel. So they had no idea really what they were doing. They just did it, and the horses came on the bit and everything was fine, but they couldn't explain how to do it, right? So it took me a long time to figure out how to do it, and then to understand how all the little different moving parts connect with each other and what goes into it. And so, now finally I'm able to explain how to do it.
And so that's what we're going to cover in the course, but also in this challenge. So the challenge is really set up as a whole mini course. You get all the elements that we do in all of our courses. We give freely and exuberantly during these days. And you can continue even after the third day. You can post in the Facebook group. It will stay open until August 1st or 2nd. Yeah. So you can post in there, continue to post your questions, post for feedback and so on. So that's how it works. Let me just check on YouTube for comments.
Sharon Gallagher says, I too want a challenge, and it has been an amazing journey since. Go for it. Yay. Kath Honeck says, I can vouch for the unbelievable support we all get from Ritter Dressage. That's so nice. Thank you. We try to answer all questions, right? We have Q&A sessions regularly in all the courses, and you can always ask questions in the Facebook groups, just like in the challenge. We have a challenge group, and you can always post questions, videos of yourself and your horse, and then we will answer that. Either I answer it or our assistants answer it. And the challenge is like a Q&A session every day almost, right? And in the courses, of course, we don't do Q&A sessions every day.
Thank goodness.
Because otherwise we wouldn't do anything else.
We would kill everyone. We would kill everyone off with that.
But we do it depending, I don't know, once a week or once every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, and we do hot seats, which are where we give feedback on people's rides.
Hot seats are a new thing that we do. We can you can submit videos, and then we look at them together live, with the whole course group, and I can share the screen, explain what's going on. I can stop the video, backtrack a little bit, replay, and explain exactly cause and effect. If something goes wrong, I can really pinpoint where that comes from and when it starts and what you can do.
So in this way, our course members, and that means you, when you're in a challenge, you get feedback on your ride, but you also get to develop your eye on other people. So you see what they're doing, and we pointed out, you develop your eye, you develop your understanding. So it's really important as riders that we don't just develop our bodies, as riders, but we develop our minds, how we understand how it works, the what, the why, and the how. So
Donna B says, I've done a couple of the challenges and have seen really good success. That's
awesome.
Great. I'm really glad to hear that. And Michelle King says, I haven't won a challenge, but I have done a full course. It's a game changer for me and my horses.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Awesome. Yeah. Susan Heel says, hot seats are wonderful. Even if you're not the rider, you can learn so much. That's true. Everybody gets something out of it, because issues that show up in the videos are usually common, meaning everybody has those issues or had them at one point or will have them in the future. So
or somebody that has this problem, maybe your friend, or somebody in your barn has this problem, and that it helps to understand where these things come from.
Seeing somebody else, and seeing how things play out, and how a problem starts and how it unfolds and what you can do to fix it is really helpful.
You can see the biomechanics, how it works, how the hind leg affects, one stride later, the balance of the horse, so on.
Exactly. And Sue Barton from Mexico says, I love all the detailed explanations. So helpful when you ride different horses. Thanks a lot.
Oh.
Welcome. I'm glad to hear that. Christiana here says, sounds wonderful. People will be on my wish list. No. And Sharon Gallagher says, the questions and answers on Facebook are extremely helpful, and you get extremely helpful, detailed responses as though someone is right there with you. It really helps.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Super.
Mary Boak says, I love that the hot seats encompass all levels of riders from beginners to professionals. It's true. We have quite the spread of riders and horse breeds too. We have a huge variety of different breeds, which is interesting because if you work with a wide variety of horses, breeds, types, temperaments, and so on, you can really see the universals, the universal principles. You can distill them, you know. And yeah, and if you have everything from beginners to, you know, FEI level riders, then it's interesting to watch, right? And everybody gets something out of everybody else's rides, really. Yeah. Roll Wellmaker says, I've always been impressed by how much detailed information you're able to share, and it's easy to understand. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the goal. I want to share everything I know. I'm not holding anything back. I don't keep any secrets. Right?
And share it in a way that you can understand,
exactly.
so that it's not just, oh, those are cool sounding words. It sounds like he knows a lot, but we want you to actually really understand it and be able to implement the information.
Yeah, I want it to be practical,
Yeah.
you know, so you can go to the barn and do it and see success. Right?
Yeah, we don't want to just mesmerize you with all that
exactly.
we know. We want you to actually learn it too. So
yeah,
that's good.
Mary Gifford says, hot seats really develop the eye too.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be one of the side effects, that because I explained to you what I'm seeing, you know, I can then freeze the frame and pinpoint it, and then hopefully your eye gets better and you start seeing these things also without somebody else having to point them out. Oh, this is lovely to hear. I'm not the only one. Naomi Bet says it's totally worth getting up at Aussie ridiculous o'clock for you guys. Thank you.
And Naomi does. She gets up in the middle of the night.
Naomi's hardcore, right?
Yeah.
Like yesterday, we did the hot seats, and there was like midnight Australian time when we were done, and then she got up at 4:30 for the Q&A session. That's dedication. That's amazing.
Yes.
Rena McFarland says, be brave, entering a video is immeasurably helpful.
Yes, and nobody's going to pick on you, and if they do, I'm going to beat them up personally. So, so that's another thing that we really cultivate, or try our best to cultivate, a really supportive, warm, helpful community, so that there's no shaming, there's no embarrassment. You're okay, you're safe to show up wherever you are and with whatever mistakes you are currently dealing with.
Exactly. Yeah. No attacking allowed, right? And
yes.
I mean,
and that goes for the challenge as well as our course groups.
And I mean, I've made all the mistakes that you will see in the videos.
And the ones he didn't make, I made.
And so I'm pretty sure everyone has made all the mistakes, you know, and if you haven't, then, you know, something to look forward to. You'll make them in the future, because there's just no getting around it, right? Yeah, I mean, we just learn by making mistakes and screwing up, and then hopefully figuring out a better way.
But it helps if you have somebody who can say, hey, I've been there and this is how I got through it.
But because we've all been there and done that and made all the mistakes, nobody really has a right to look down on anybody else, you know?
Yeah.
Because I was that rider one day, someday.
Exactly. We're not going to, nobody is going to sit there and say, well, I don't know why you're dealing with that. If you would just do this and this and this, everything would go away. Well, no, it's not always so simple, right?
Yeah. And if you knew better, you would do better, right?
Exactly. It's our job to help you know better.
Right. And I'm hoping that I can save you time. I mean, it took me forever to figure these things out, partially because my teachers didn't explain them in that much detail. So I had to figure a lot of things out myself. And if I can save you a few years in your learning journey, that'll be great. So you get to where I am faster than I did, that'll be great. So Kim Underwood says, a ritter dressage course is like a university master's course in terms of the organization, level of information, and sheer professionalism. The support and feedback is incredible. I was skeptical that I could learn via internet, but it totally works and is 100% effective. You'll be seriously blown away by what you can learn. Thank you. Michelle King says, hot seats are a great way to get to know the other riders on the course. I've made a couple of good rider friends that way. That's awesome. That's a nice added benefit, that you make more new friends.
Yeah, actually, friends made me think of another thing we added this last year. We added accountability pods into our courses. And this is where it's optional to sign up for one, but those people that sign up and say they want to be in a pod, we sign them into little groups. And some of these groups, they meet together, they help each other. Oh my gosh, they're planning to meet up in real life somewhere, to go on vacation together, one of the pods. And I mean, they become lifelong friends. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about lifelong, because that hasn't happened yet, but
hasn't been that long yet.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, I can't say that. But they become, real life friends, and over years and years, they stay friends. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, Kim Underwood says the Ritter Dressage community is fantastic too, so supportive and accessible. And Sharon Gallagher says, yes, huge support system and so positive, so much sharing too.
Yes, it's vital to us that you cannot learn in an environment where you're on guard, you're in shame, you're fearful of sharing. You're just not going, you might learn a little bit, but you're going to miss out on a huge learning opportunity. So it's super important for us to make an absolutely safe environment where you feel absolutely supported, like held, and comforted and but yet challenged too. We're not going to just coddle you and say, yes, you're doing super, we're going to say, okay, now you need to work on this and this and this. This is how you can do that. Next time, try this, do this. And if that doesn't work, try this,
Yeah.
So
Julie says, do you have pet budgies? What is that?
Oh, the birds outside. Oh. Actually, there is an aviary right outside with little lovebirds. Yeah. They're breeding. There's like twice as many as there were originally in there. They're not ours, actually. They belong to a friend of ours. But yeah, they're right outside.
Lucinda Starling says, here's an English draft writer. We're struggling a bit in our untypical English heat wave. Judges say needs more energy. Yep.
Yeah.
Debbie McCloskey says, define hot seats, please.
Yeah,
it's a live event where you can submit.
It's live like we are now.
Exactly. And you can submit a video beforehand with a little description maybe of what exercise you're writing or what issues you're having, like 5-minute video or so. And then we look at it together on Zoom. I share the screen, and all the course participants can watch live,
just like we are now.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I just explain what I'm seeing and comment and give tips. What you could do differently, or if there's an issue, how you can avoid it, how you can correct it, and so on. So it's sort of like a writing lesson, 5-minute writing lesson, right? Just that it's not in real time. It's like after the fact, but then you can go and implement the tips.
Except he goes way more than 5 minutes on everybody's video.
It's true. I mean, the video is 5 minutes, and then it takes me 20 minutes to discuss it.
Into depth, about everything that he sees and everything that you can do. And sometimes it makes him think of something else, and he talks about that for a while.
It brings up interesting tangents sometimes too, things that are sort of related to it, and then we talk about those things.
And anybody who's attending live, whether it's your video or not, you can ask questions about it. Exactly, and so you could get more clarification even if it's not your own video.
And here, Babette Gorman-Connolly says, I love the Ritter courses. They provide in-depth theoretical explanations as well as concrete input to individual queries. And Thomas and Shanna are so generous in sharing their knowledge and insights. Thank you. That's so nice. Yeah. And here, Carmen C says, I often have trouble with timing the hind legs. Looking forward to your explanations. Yeah, that's universal. Everybody has trouble at first feeling where the hind legs are, timing of the aids. And it's important to, so you apply the aid at a time when the horse is actually able to do something, with it, rather than, working against it. But Sarah says, you have completely changed the way I ride my horse, and I can't believe the difference it has made to her way of going. It feels like I've had to learn to ride all over again, and wish I'd known all this stuff years ago. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so nice. But I mean, you and your horse have come a long way in a really short amount of time. It's impressive to see the improvement. With your horse. That's a completely different animal now. And it's been what, 6 months, 7 months, something like that, not a whole lot longer. Yeah, Colin King says, I decided to join this challenge after watching the improvement in my wife Michelle King's writing. Hey, really looking forward to not just being the film crew, but participating as well.
Awesome.
Oh, welcome. That's awesome. That's great.
That's
fun.
fun.
Michelle has, is participating with 2 horses in the one of the courses, and doing great. They've also come a long way. They're not so easy, or weren't so easy to begin with, and they look so good.
He
at the
knows.
moment.
He was behind the camera. He knows.
Yeah, Dougal Chisholm here says definitely a safe place to learn. Yeah,
Yes.
that's a goal. Katie McGatchy, hey, he says, as someone who's a beginner, the Ritter community is like a whole lot of kind people with so much amazing information to share. The Ritters are always so generous with their information. They answer all of my questions, no matter how simple they are. They go above and beyond to help. Oh, thank you. Well, the simple questions are often the most difficult ones to answer, right? Because they're really basic and they go to, the core of a really important issue. And you cannot really explain simple basics enough, and can't really research those basics enough, because everything else builds on them, right? All the fancy advanced movements really build on good basics, right? So you always have to work on improving the basics, and everything else follows from there, right? And Katie is our doodler.
Our doodler.
She always makes really great drawings of
Yes,
the Q&As and things and cartoons. And
so with some luck, she will make some cute doodles in this challenge. We're really hoping that she'll feel inspired by something and can doodle it. Everyone always loves her doodles.
I know, she's very talented with a pencil. And everybody enjoys what she comes up with. Yeah, and here Cathonic says the groups are very supportive, friendly, and helpful. The videos are excellent learning tools for us all, but very specific for the rider and horse. It's amazing the video assessments are offered so freely. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Kath is in our courses as well and doing great with Louis the lad, right? And Carolyn McCoy says, so I was riding today trail and my horse's mouth was wide open. There was no pressure on the reins. I checked both reins almost slack. I was thinking, why can't I find the right bit for this horse? Oh, so the problem is me. How novel, can't wait for this. Yeah, that's the funny thing. Changing bits usually does not help. I mean, here and there, it could be that the bit doesn't fit the horse, but usually it's not the bit. If there is a rein contact problem, it's usually something else.
Yep.
Oh. Sharon Gallagher says, yes, our pod has talked about a group vacation.
I know, that's amazing.
Yeah, and Agneta says, is there a difference to get the horse on the bit compared to the expression get the horse between the aids and the expression have the horse held in front for the aids? These later expressions are common in riding school. Yeah, I mean, on the bit is part of being on the aids, right? If the horse is on the aids, he'll be on the bit. On the bit is one of those little bit unfortunate expressions, really. If the horse is balanced and supple and straight and so on, then he's attentive to all the aids. You feel like all the aids are going through. He is on in front of the leg. He's on the seat. He's on the bit, right? He's not blocking your aids with any part of the body. So that's sort of the ultimate goal, that the energy can flow freely from the hind legs to the head and from the head back to the hind legs. Whether you're riding bitless or with a bit doesn't really matter. I mean, whether you talk to the bridge of the nose or whether you talk to the lower jaw.
It's about connecting the energy circuit in the horse.
Yeah, exactly. So, some of these traditional expressions focus on a part of the bigger thing, so to speak, but it encompasses the horse's whole body, the rider's whole body. It involves all the aids, not just the reins, and not just the mouth and so on. So that's why the traditional expressions are a little bit misleading, right?
Even contact is misleading, really, and it can be misunderstood. So we're going to go into depth about that, a little bit in the challenge and a lot more in the course. And all of these things become components of a larger issue of connection and throughness.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So Eva Suhu says, I love our pod. It has kept me engaged in the course when otherwise I would have started losing momentum. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we did
good.
that. Yeah. So you cheer
Good.
each other
It
on.
worked.
You,
That's what I wanted when
Yeah.
I started these pods. I wanted
Exactly.
it to help you when you're starting to lose your motivation, because this happens to everybody in any new thing that you do, any new challenge you take on. We always go in full force. I'm doing this, and you keep going for a while, and then you slow down. And if you have a really good support structure, they're there to pick you up and help support you and keep you going and keep you accountable. But it's not just making you show up, but it's also being there for you, you know, and being a sounding board for you. And as you experience, that's what I really wanted, so that everybody felt really supported every step of the way. And we support everyone, but sometimes it helps to have a smaller group,
Exactly.
you know, that feels more intimate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If life gets in the way and you feel overwhelmed, then it's good, you know, pod members can check on you and help. And if, yeah, sometimes, you know, people get sick, horses get sick, or horses have died recently, you know, so people have to deal with loss and other catastrophes, and then so the pod is like
life happens,
family.
and it's not always good stuff, right? And sometimes this gets you off your game, you fall behind, you stop writing for a little bit because of whatever reason, you know. It happens to me too, you know. And it's important that you have a really safe place where you can come back, you know. And nobody's gonna say, well, look at how far we've come while you were gone, you know. But they're gonna be there and say, hey, let's help you, you know.
Yeah. Here, Candace C says, yes, this is like a graduate course. It's very demanding, but also advances my writing quite a bit. You suggest unusual ways to use the aids that are very effective. Exactly. Yeah, one of my goals is always to give you a couple more things to play with and to experiment with. Like if you're stuck with a problem, you just need another idea or a couple more ideas that you can try. And if you always have one more idea you can try, then eventually you'll find something that works, right? So that's always my goal, one of my goals. Like on the one hand, I want you to understand how everything works, and you know how the moving parts of the system work together, and how the principles work. But also give you ideas, things that maybe you haven't thought of before, things you can try with your horse, and then you can gradually work your way towards a solution. You know, sooner or later you'll find something that works. So that's just sometimes the way it goes, right? You try everything, you know, and if nothing works, you have to have a few more ideas, and you have to maybe look at it from a different angle and come at it from a different side. And sooner or later you find something that helps you get to the next stage, to the next step, and then, you know, you get unstuck again. Yeah. Stella James says, will the recordings be on the website or in the Facebook group for this challenge?
Yep, they'll be in the challenge platform, and they'll also be on YouTube. So you can find them on our YouTube channel. If you have trouble logging into the challenge platform, they're always put up into the challenge platform within most, it'll be 12 hours, hopefully a little bit less. But if you can't log in for some reason, or you just don't want to bother, you can find them on YouTube too.
Major Ellis says, hot seats are an amazing benefit. Yeah, that's great. They have been a big hit. It's nice. It's nice to see. And Babs Hamilton says, it's so wonderful that people like you two and the Widow team are so passionate about what you do, and that you're willing to share that passion with the rest of us. Thank you. Welcome. And Sharon Gallagher says, like a writing lesson, only with way more detail than ever in any other lesson you've ever had. It's totally amazing, worth watching the others too. That's about the hot seats. Yeah, the good thing is that, you know, in a hot seat, you can stop time, so to speak. Like you can pause the video and then you can talk for half an hour about what just happened and explain it. Whereas in a real life writing lesson, you can't, right? You just have to keep moving, right? So that's one of the advantages of these courses, that you can provide a lot more background and detail and theoretical, you know, superstructure than you could ever do in a writing lesson, right? In a writing lesson, you just have a limited amount of time, and you have to do stuff, and it's more action oriented. And in the course, you can balance action and theory and analysis and so on. So that's
it what works makes very well.
The course is powerful. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Christiane says 20 minutes with analysis would be 10 normal lessons. Yeah. Rowell Maker says that's what I'd like to learn and feel better to time the aid correctly, putting theory into practice exercises for it is what I could use help with.
Yep,
yeah,
that's what we're going to do.
Yes, absolutely. Wendy Opperson says, are the hot seat videos organized on the Facebook page or references so we can review them again with the comments and feedback? I think that would be an invaluable resource. Hot seat videos, we record them.
Yeah, these are something we do in the courses. We're not planning to do hot seats in the challenge. What we will do are Loom feedback. So when you post your videos in the challenge, we will record a little video over it. It's just like the hot seat. It's just not live as a group because we want to keep the challenge kind of concise, you know. But what we'll do is we'll record these and you can get feedback in the same way. And we'll do that and we'll post those in the challenge group, in the Facebook group, so that you can find them in there. In our courses, we record all of the hot seats. So if people can't make it live or they want to review it over and over, they can. And those are even downloadable in our courses. Yeah.
Yeah. So Michelle King says, have you ever thought of a payment option for a couple to take part?
Michelle, email me.
Yeah. And Katie already started doodling because people are telling her to do that. Heather Parnham Wilson says, thank you for this. Since doing your courses, my writing and teaching have been transformed and definitely completely rhetorized. Thank you to you both and your wonderful team. Oh, thank you. It's always nice to hear when we have teachers and professionals also participating, because then they can pass that on to their students. And sometimes, like for the professionals, they may already know most of what's in the course, but maybe they'll find another explanation that they can use on their students that they haven't thought of, another way of explaining it, another way of phrasing it, you know. For a teacher, that's sometimes important to have more than one way of explaining it to the student, because sometimes they just don't get it right. And then you have to explain it from different angles and in different ways, different words. And then if you find just the right image or just the right formulation, then all of a sudden it clicks and the student gets it, right? So, yeah, and the more different ways you have of explaining things, you know, the more successful you'll be.
Okay. Can we zip through these comments?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, but there's 58 more. And I promised we'd keep it to half an hour, and we're already over half an hour.
Oops.
I'm sorry.
Debbie McCluskey says, will the recorded sessions be available to watch later?
Yes.
Am I able to attend live?
Yes, for the challenge, yes. And for everything, we always record everything. So yeah.
Carla Powell says, my horses are quite happy with the courses we're in now. They appreciate how much you're teaching me. My grouchy mare isn't biting when being saddled. Oh, good, accepts a bit quicker and has settled as I have begun to understand better the things that have been bothering her about my riding. She and I both are making big changes.
Thank you, Carla.
Yeah, that's so nice. See, there's a Q&A here. Susanne Schmidt says, my croup high, straight-legged, unbalanced Andalusian mare so profited from in-hand work over the last year. And finally, we have rain contact. Yay! We're working through various Twitter courses and appreciate the diversity of exercises. I love your scientific approach to problem solving and dissection of the many elements. You have made a big difference, as yoga and Pilates were another missing piece. Thank you so much. Amazing Ritter team. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if the horse is croup high, straight-legged, then that's a challenge, right? To get the horse balanced, you know, and you know, when they're not balanced, you won't have a good rein contact, right? And you know, in order to get a good rein contact, you have to balance the horse, and that can be a challenge. And then if you can do work in hand and other things, then it makes it a lot easier than if you have to do everything in the saddle, right? And Shirley Owen says, I love the way the Ritter courses give me the means to work independently with my horse, but with support readily available. The exercises are so useful and explained in such detail. I love to see the improvement they make in my little horse. Yeah, that's our goal in a way, right? To make you more independent, so that if you understand the system, if you understand how things work, then you can find your own solution, because you can analyze, like, okay, what am I seeing, you know, apply the theory to the observations, and then you can come up with a working hypothesis, and then you can test that working hypothesis by writing a certain exercise. And well, either your analysis was right or it was wrong, right? But either way, you learn something, and then you either form another working hypothesis if that the first one was wrong, and then you go through that cycle until you find the right one, or your analysis was correct, then the remedy that you came up with is probably going to work too, and then you can move on to the next issue, right? Mary says perhaps a quick preview of a hot seat. So many have questions.
We'll talk more about it later.
Yeah.
When we talk about the course.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Oh, I just don't want to. Okay.
Yeah, so Claudia says, my horse has osteoarthritis in his neck. I'm constantly working on his body with groundwork, lunging, and work in hand. And of course, riding through the groundwork and work in hand, he gets more strength and suppleness. Exactly. Yes. I only ride him for 3 years. Before I was afraid. Now we can get the attention to riding. I hope the challenge gives us eye openers. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have horses that are compromised in some way, traumatized or injured, or have arthritis in various parts of the body, and then dressage training becomes physiotherapy essentially, right? So then with the gymnastic approach, you basically treat everything as physiotherapy, and then the performance aspect is built on that, But the horses that already have some injury or arthritis, they're more difficult to train, of course, than a completely healthy, sound horse. It's interesting work, challenging work, and the more tools you have, the better off you are. Susanne Bundel says, I'm a new Ritterite and it has changed my life. My 3 boys are all so different and they all have approved amazingly. Still working up the courage to submit a hot seat one day.
Aww.
That's fine. That's fine. That's great. Thank you. Yeah. Kaylee Collins says, when you started this, did you have an idea of how transformative it is in the world of horse training? This changes the way we and the horses learn. No, we didn't know. It's
evolved too. It's really
it's evolved. I mean, initially we just started somehow, fumbling our way along.
Let's do a course.
Exactly. And then we tried to improve it. With experiences in the courses and the feedback from the riders. We just tried to tweak it so the courses would get better. But we've built a nice community now. A lot of people. And it's nice to see the appreciation, and it's nice to see people grow and improve their relationships with their horses. And we had course participants who started with horses that were half lame, and they became sounder as a result of the gymnastic training, right?
Yes.
And farriers are telling this course participants that the feet are more balanced and growing much better, and the saddle makers, saddle fitters are telling them that they need a bigger saddle now because the horses are
more muscled and more even. So
physiotherapists don't have to treat the horses as often because they're just healthier. So that always makes us happy, and seeing people being happy because they progress and they're not stuck anymore, and
they feel empowered. They understand, they can make their own analysis, they can problem solve on their own. They're not stuck in the cycle of problem after problem after problem. Not that there isn't always stuff to work on. There always is. You're never done.
Right, exactly.
But to be stuck in this cycle of problem after problem after problem, and they never get better, this can feel really overwhelming and frustrating. And it's really wonderful to empower people to develop the tools so that they can get themselves out of that cycle when it happens.
Marie Gifford says, the top line makeover course was my first challenging course. I will say that I was an avid trail rider that rarely rode in the arena. Boring. Now I get depressed if I can't ride and record in the arena. Never would have imagined the things you can do in the arena, and the parts are amazing.
You're hooked.
Arena work is interesting. It's interesting stuff.
It can be really interesting if you know the right way to look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Viv says, love the way you explain things. If things are not clear, you go to the nth degree to ensure understanding. Never make anyone feel daft for asking anything at all. We're all at different stages and all learning. Love the hot seats and loom, especially when things don't go exactly to plan. Learn so much, feel like friends, like always look forward to the Zooms.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard often to watch a video of oneself, right? I mean, I hate it. I hate watching videos of myself.
Right.
And there's probably an urge to show the best work, but really, we're here to help. So in a way, we need to see your worst work, right? The worst moments, so we can help. Because if you show us the best work, everything's perfect, I can pat you on the back and say, you're doing great, can I take lessons from you? Yeah, if you want
but then
to,
you don't get any help, right?
Exactly, you don't get anything out of it.
And then you feel like you can show less and less because it has to meet that standard. So show us your worst work, show us the worst moments, the stuff you're absolutely the most embarrassed about, so that we can help it become less embarrassing, less tormenting for you. And
exactly. So we can help you.
Yeah.
If you don't show a mistake, I can't help you. But yeah, if you show just real life, this is what happened, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, then we can all brainstorm together basically, and I can come up with ideas of things to try, and then you can try them out, and either they work or they don't. If they don't work, you come back, tell me, well, that didn't work.
And think of something else. Interesting.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. And even if something isn't working, you get data back from the horse, right?
That's important information too.
Yeah, you get more information, and then you can think of, well, why didn't that work?
And what did happen when you tried it? Because that tells us, and tells you even more.
Yeah, and the more data you have, the more likely you are to come up with the right working hypothesis and the right treatment, basically. Yeah. Here, it's just the telephone number here. It says the course has pushed me to move forward, stayed at the same place all the time, thinking I haven't mastered this. How can I move on? Realized I need to move forward regardless, or we will never learn anything new. Yeah. How has been inspiring. Looking forward to adding on the bit. Yeah, that's a bit of a trap, isn't it? That you think that you have to be perfect at one thing before you can move on to the next thing, but you'll never be perfect. So you'll be stuck at that fairly low level, right?
In fact, we need to lose our attachment to perfection.
Yeah. Really. So it's a fluid thing. I mean, we always want to use the more simple stuff to prepare the more advanced stuff. But then if you move up one level and work on more advanced things, you will find that they will improve the layer below and make the more basic stuff better. And so you go through these cycles, and you have to be okay with not being perfect, and do something new, do something else, come back to the old. It's not like you leave things behind forever, but you always cycle back to them, and you look at them again, with a few more miles under the belt, and more experiences and new skills. Every time you try something new, you learn something, you get new skills, you bring them back to the other stuff you used to do, right? And the more basic exercises, and so it gradually builds, and builds your understanding, your feel, your skills, your coordination, and so you progress more holistically in a way. Yeah. The Chancellor says, I love the fact that I'm taking lessons with people at all different levels. I remind myself that even the writers in the Spanish writing school start with the basics. Absolutely. It may take me years to get beyond the basics, but I get to see both writers who are more advanced and less advanced, and I learn from both. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Always. And even the most advanced writers always go back to basics. Yes, and they always go back to perfecting the basics. Yeah. Oh, Rosamund Saunders says, I don't have a horse, but your theory and visualizations kept me going all through lockdown when the writing stables were closed. Yeah, it was a hard year. It was a hard year, right? And then, but the communities then help you a little bit through that too.
Keeps you a little sane, a little bit more sane.
Yeah, especially if you're in an area where the lockdown is severe, you're isolated, you can't go to a barn, then at least you can, vicariously,
yes,
share in others.
And keep your learning, keep focused on something rather than thinking about all that's not going well, right?
Naomi says, I feel like I'm sitting in the start box of the cross country being counted down. Horse and I are dancing on the spot, waiting for the flag drop. Can't wait to tackle this course. Yay! Yeah, you'll like it. You'll see.
You'll love it.
Yeah, it'll help. Kimberly Peterson says one of the biggest benefits of the Ritter courses is having diagnostic tools in your toolbox.
That's
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah. Marley says, are there degrees of being on the bit and on the aids? I ask because my horse can be instantaneously responsive to very subtle aids and completely under my control, not always a given, with his butt under me, and yet he needs much persuasion to flex the higher hind limb joints. Yeah, it's always, it's not black and white, right? It's not like a switch you flip on and off, on the aids, off the aids. Like it's always a blend, and they might respond pretty well to some aids and not so well to other aids. You know, some horses are a little bit allergic to the leg, you know, intolerant for the leg, but they might tolerate rein aids, or vice versa. Some horses might accept leg aids really well, but they might be a little funny about the rein. So which means there are pockets of resistance. There's still muscles that are braced. There is still an imbalance somewhere. There's still, you know, things that need to be polished more, you know. And it fluctuates. I mean, it can be that your horse is beautifully on the aids and everything is going well, and then he sees something, right, a deer passing or whatever, or another horse coming up, and then all of a sudden that it's all gone. Then he's so preoccupied with watching what's going on over there that he's locked up and stiff and above the bit, and he has to look who's over there, what are they doing, you know. And then the horse is not on the aids, not on the bit anymore, and then maybe the, you know, distraction passes, and then, you know, the horse is on the aids again. So it's always shifting, it's always changing.
It's dynamic.
It's very dynamic. Yeah.
And it's not just, nothing is black and white.
Sharon says, I bet you never thought people would say they are ritterized. No, certainly not.
Never in our wildest dreams. It was a term that, the community came up with, and we fought it for a while. We were like, so no, you're not ritterized. Then finally we gave in. Fine.
No,
okay.
It's cute. Yeah, but I was very embarrassed at first. But unintentional consequences. Viv says, wonderful thing I've learned through the courses is to try things. If something isn't working, try something else. Made me a thinking rider, enjoy my riding so much more. Yeah. You and the horses both. Yeah, but experimenting is not encouraged usually in traditional dressage lessons, right? But
experimenting and asking questions.
Yeah. But to me, that is what keeps me from getting stuck, you know. And because if you just have the one method that is supposed to work and it's not working, then what are you going to do, right? You apply force, right? And then you're insistent on this has to work because that's what everybody says, or that's what the teacher says, right? And that leads to conflict very quickly sometimes. Whereas if you say, oh, well, that didn't work, so what else could I do? What else could the reason be why it's not working? And then you try different things, and it keeps things more lighthearted and more relaxed and more playful. So you're less likely to get stuck. You're less likely to get into a confrontation with a horse, and then everybody's happier, and you make progress, you know, that way. Oh, Catherine Tate says, and it's the truth. You all are two of the kindest instructors I've had the pleasure of learning from. Thank you. That's so nice. So nice to hear. Yeah, Christiana says, see the horse with new eyes, not the problem, the possibility. That's such a great help from you. Yeah, flexibility, right? Mental flexibility is really a big key, you know, and like not getting stuck, not getting stagnant, not becoming static and insisting that this has to work, right? That's took me a long time to figure that out, and it makes riding a lot more harmonious in a way, and the relationship with the horse a lot better, you know. So the more you can stay flexible mentally and stay on your toes, and the more you can, you know, if you run into an obstacle, go around it, come at it from a different angle, try it from another angle, and so on. Makes learning much more enjoyable for horse and rider, and also the horses stay mentally flexible and they don't shut down because somebody's insisting that they have to do something now, you know. So anyway, so Sally Watson says, it's so hard, very grateful to those who do post their videos. It's about the hot seats. I don't yet feel brave enough hoping to join the crew soon. Okay, Peatling says I've had to buy a new saddle as Rio has changed shape so much. Problem is a 12-week wait, and Ritter course is on hold until it arrives in August. So the new contact and connection course is well timed, onwards and upwards. Yeah. Yeah, we have a number of people who are riding with some sort of bareback pad because they're waiting for a new saddle. And yeah, I mean, I feel bad in a way that you have to spend money on a new saddle, but on the other hand, if the horses are bulking up so much, then
it's because they're better muscled, more correctly muscled, healthier, then it's actually good. It's just unfortunate you have to spend more money.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Michelle King says I've shown some videos of my horse going pretty badly and I learned loads from it. No one criticized my riding, just gave me help and support to improve it. Because we've been there, done that. And that's, in a way, that's the advantage for you. I've made all the mistakes that you show in your videos. And that's why I have an idea of how to avoid them, how to fix them when they happen. And that's why I can help you, And she says you don't want to see my worst moments, but I can proudly report that over the COVID times, we have improved a lot through ritter training, and my teacher was impressed by our progress. Beautiful. That's awesome. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. Sharon Gallagher says my horse and I never had a change or half pass. We're getting that thanks to the course, and I'm way better without perfection. Devil in details, but not perfection. It's an amazing process learning with the ritters. Thank you. Oh. Michelle Dorsey says, hello, old ritter friends. I'm stuck in the perfection rut. Started the newest version of What Why How and got stuck in a rut. I need a kick in the butt. Yeah, dressage riders are all a little bit OCD and all a little bit perfectionist, right? And the traditional teaching model kind of,
that's why we're kind of the anti-mainstream,
Yeah, exactly.
Let's find a different way, a better way.
Yeah, I mean, if you need help, if you're in the What Why How course, I mean, Michelle actually was in the very first one, and so she's been in all of them since then. So just post, if you have an issue, I have a question, post in the group or post a video, and then we'll figure something out, right?
Yes.
To get you out of the rut.
Yes.
And Sally Watson says it's so easy to get into a perfectionist, comparative, negative cycle. You guys help us to focus on new things, on progress bit by bit. So much more encouraging and empowering. Yeah. I have been there, done that so many times, beating myself up, being too perfectionistic and comparing myself, and then feeling hopeless and banging my head against the wall. And it's not working. That's the thing. So if we can help you get out of that mindset sooner than we did or I did, then that'd be great.
Well, because we were in it and we got out of it, we know the process to get out of it, so we can help you with that too.
Oh, Rowell Maker says I'm having trouble treating my morning horse to an evening one. My barn schedule changed. I feed dinner and have arena access at night. I'm now not riding at his peak energy time, trying to be consistent later in the day for him to adjust. So far, a bit of improvement, but not consistent on enough of a change yet. May take a while. I mean, horses have their biorhythms too, right? And they
you posted about this on Facebook recently.
Yeah, there's one horse I tend to ride in the afternoon, and then one day it fit better into my schedule to ride him in the morning, and he just planted his feet and says, no, it's not time yet.
So not my time of day, sorry.
No, so I left him, took the halter off and said, okay, I'll come back later.
You can change their biorhythm essentially, but you have to give it some time. And it still might not be optimal. They have their natural times that are best too, just like us.
Just exactly. I mean, some of us are morning people, some of us are evening people, and the horses are like that too. Some of them are best in the morning, some of them are best in the evening or the afternoon. And if you can work with that would be great, but sometimes the horses just have to go to work when it's office hours, right? It's like night people may have to go, be in the office at 8 or 9 in the morning too, whether they like it or not. It's just sometimes the way life works.
6.
Or 6, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Kath Honeck says we've become ritterized and speak ritterish. It's a great compliment to your wonderful dedication and willingness to help and support so many in the horse community. Oh, it's so
ritterish.
Awesome.
I speak ritterish, Katie.
That's a new word.
Oh my gosh. That's hilarious.
And Sharon Gallagher says, me too. LOL, new saddle, all good. Sorry. And Nancy Cup says, having the permission to go on to the next thing before things are perfect is wonderful. After all, that is how you get there. Exactly. Yeah. Rena McFarland says, saddle fitter widened and refitted for 3 of the boys since starting What, Why, How to accommodate these new shoulder and back muscles. Wow, awesome. All 3. That's so nice.
Wow.
Kate Peatling says, I have no problem spending money on my horse. Perhaps you should get commission from the saddle makers. Yeah, that's true. That's an idea.
There you
go. And Sally Batty says, I love the way you suggest alternatives to ways of asking for something when the usual aids are not working. I've never heard of stirrup stepping to encourage movement in the direction you want to go. Yeah, stirrup stepping is a funny thing that's so incredibly effective and subtle, and it comes out of the Spanish riding school, but yeah, it's I'm not sure they're still doing that actually. I mean, that's something that came started in the 19th century, and then I think it got lost at some point in the 60s, 70s, 80s or so. But yeah, it's a very, very effective aid. Yeah. Oh, Sharon Gallagher says, I hope anyone who feels bad then about their riding joins us because it helps the horse and the rider and enhances your life too. That's so sweet. Yeah. I mean, an amazing community has grown in a way in all the courses, and it's wonderful to see that. It's so supportive,
Thomas,
Yes.
we're losing the war on the message.
It's
at 90 now.
Yeah.
That we haven't read. So
Kim says you should warn people that they will need to join Cones Anonymous too.
Cones Anonymous.
Yeah, that's a good one. Actually, here's the one. I think it's 90 comments total. It's not.
No, that's 90 new.
Yeah, because I'm almost at the
really?
end. Yeah.
Oh, it was
it counts the total.
Okay, good. I was
It's
panicking. I thought we had 90 more comments.
I
was like, oh my God, we'll never catch up. Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, so we're here saying to anyone new to the courses, this is how it goes. Plan for half an hour session, but Thomas and Shanna keep going while there are questions to support people. Marathon sessions, yay. But you can always turn it off and watch the replay, when it gets too boring or too long, or you have to do other things or go to bed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah. So Kimberly Peterson says, yep, new saddle here too. The saddle fitter said my mare was even on both sides and she never sees that.
Wow.
A year and a half of rittering will do that.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That's really a big
job.
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
Katie says, yes, bring a coffee. Christiana says, boring, never. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm glad you enjoy it. Let me see, I just have to look at the YouTube. A couple of people saying hello. Linda Steinberg and Sandra Einsberger. And DB Siglavi says, thank you very much. Just hearing you talk, I know I'm looking forward to what's next. Oh, good.
Excellent.
That's awesome. That's
Excellent.
really nice. Yeah.
So I think we can probably wrap it up here so that people can get through this. It's been an hour. So, and just to say welcome. Let's do this challenge.
Exactly. So when are we on tomorrow?
Same time, same channel. Literally, right? If you're on YouTube, it's literally. So and be ready for day 1. There is homework today. There is a workbook to download. Sandy will post the link in the Facebook group. Sandy. And it's also, you can find it in Kajabi.
She's already did.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Sandy.
You can also find it in the course challenge platform. You can find it in there. And if you have trouble finding it, just email us at ritterdressage@gmail.com or post in the Facebook group, and everybody will help you. They'll help you find it. So download the workbook. There's a digital version and a printable version, so you can choose which one you want to use. And we're going to use that as we move through the challenge. And there's some questions to answer before we get started tomorrow. So go dive into that, start writing out or typing out or however you want to do it, your answers. And
and since we have a whole bunch of people who have been in courses, they're great to turn to when you need help with tech questions.
Finding stuff, the login to the course platform, things like that. This can stump people in the beginning. Don't worry, you'll get it. We'll get you figured out everything. Just post in the group and everybody will help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was
thank you, everybody.
Fun to see all these familiar names and faces.
Yes.
And new people too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will see you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be fun. There'll be challenges are always fun. They're always a good time.
Yes.
And it's exciting to see progress that people make with a challenge. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, good day.
A good ride.
Good ride.